behind you.
Okay.
Be a little unnerving.
Well, there's you.
I think people are usually kind of amazed at how uncomplicated it is once you see it. Encaustic is just a combination of strained beeswax and Damar crystals, which is a hardening agent. So it keeps it hard and it makes it a little clearer. And then most people add pigment, so oil paint, to the wax. So most of the time when you see encaustic paintings, you'll see a lot of like sort of opaque colors that have a waxy surface. But I use it differently, so I don't use the pigment. I just use the clear wax and then layer these drawings on really thin rice paper. So the wax is just sort of a binder, you know, to be able to layer lots and lots of drawings. And you can get as many layers as you want, but visually, like being able to see through all of them, you know, you can get like 10, 12 layers of drawings. And then, you know, some of them are, you see parts and some of them are revealed and some of them are covered, but you can get a lot of layers. So that's how I use it. Since he used it, the material has gotten, you know, there's all these ideas about how it should be used, you know. But if you see images of him using it, it's like a pot of wax. And he's just like, you know, it's like very crude. It's pretty awesome. But now there's, you know, just tons of books out about, you know, you do this and then you do this and then you do this, and I think most people use some sort of pick and choose of all that, you know, somewhere between the two. Jasper Johnson. Super sophisticated. And it's on wood, so it starts out with just a white, you know, treat the surface with a white coat of wax, and then from there it's all drawings, so all 8 drawings layered. And then I've started using a little bit of spray paint too. So
over the top of it.
Yeah, like in this one.
Or does it go underneath there?
It goes in between the layers.
Yeah?
So like this white right here is spray paint.
Wild.
Yeah. And then a little bit of oil paint in there too. I think this down here is oil paint. You know, I look at natural patterns, you know, and sort of like slight shifts and movements, and a lot of emphasis on pattern in the natural world. So I do a lot of like landscape drawings, just draw, and then pull sort of repeated patterns from that. But then when I sit down to do the drawings for these paintings, I'm really trying to sort of not think about all of those materials and really just rely on my hand, you know. But it, you know, of course, it's a combination of those two things.
That's not cheap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The process lends itself to some ideas. So the process of like layering all of this imagery, and the material is very physical, like you scrape at it, you sort of destroy it and repair it, and destroy it and repair it, and that's just ingrained in the process, you know. So that to me becomes sort of a vehicle for this idea about memories, just layers and layers of memories, and just how every person is sort of this conglomerate of memories that become warped and distorted and sort of thin and intangible. The drawings I'm pulling from the landscape, but that's sort of what I'm thinking about in terms of the more process oriented. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're out tool, but so this is sort of an old wore out painting, but I'll just put a drawing on top of it so you can kind of see if you want. Is that good? Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. It makes it a little clearer, I think. this drawing, and this is sort of a ink drawing. So all the imagery is put on this way, and you just sort of figure out where you want it. And then this is just the strain beeswax with the Damar melted into it. So it sort of makes the paper really translucent. And then you fuse it, so you use a heat source. So this is just a matte gas. And it becomes more transparent. And then it's just like a lot of back and forth with this kind of clay tool, just sort of smoothing and smoothing and smoothing until you get what you want, and you just keep going. It's very direct. I mean, it's sort of, I think this, why I was drawn to it was that I came from a sculpture background, and it's essentially like building a painting, you know, like building layers and layers and layers of a painting, and there's a lot of correction. I mean, if I decided I hated this, you know, I could reheat it and just pull it up.
Really?
You know, so there's a lot of like adding and subtracting like sculpture.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty. It's a seductive material because there's just a lot of give and take, and you know you can just scrape stuff right up. You know you can use anything oil based in it. So any drawing materials or painting materials that are oil based, or even powdered like graphite or pigment you can use is compatible with the wax. So it's a wide world, you know. I mean, it's pretty great material. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's still pretty good. Messy.
So this is your belt buckle operation.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I here and there make sculpture too, but I haven't in a long time. So right now it is belt buckle central.
You're taking pianos apart back here.
I know. I got that at a flea market because it just had so much potential, and it's been sitting there for 3 years.
Yeah, it's
waiting for its potential to be met.
I know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll probably give it away at some point to somebody.
I think all artists have a little bit of hoarding tendencies.
Oh,
you
big
know?
time.
Sort of picking stuff up off the street. I could use this sometime. I used to pick stuff up all the time. I still do.